Liking video will support us. At the kickoff, we see a doctor leading a normal life. But then a virus spreads out round the city. Nobody knows why. What is the reason why the virus is getting out of control? The children born as an effect of this virus are hybrids. The term hybrid means half human and half animal. The doctor's wife is then shown to be infected with the virus. The physician shifts his wife to the hospital. He discovers that the city as a whole is in the same status. The doctor was worried because he understood nothing. What should he do? A man who was a sweeper takes his son to the forest. His son was a hybrid and named Gus. The sweeper was afraid that if the last men caught his son, they would kill him. The last men was actually a group of the army. They killed the hybrid kids or took them for research. There was a general of this last men group. The sweeper brought up his son Gus in the forests. He never let his son go out. This is the reason Gus has no knowledge about the outer world. One day a man arrives in the forests and reaches their location. But the sweeper makes him run from there somehow. The man marks the place. It means that someone lives there. Gus's father gets suspicious, maybe they have discovered about Gus. Hiding his son Gus in a basement, he leaves from there. Gus's father didn't return after a long time. Then Gus hears the screaming of his father. Going outside, Gus notices his father coming from the front. Suddenly, his father falls. Gus somehow takes him inside. Gus notices the vibrating finger of his father. It means his father is also affected by this virus. Gus's father dies the next day due to this infection. Gus had been alone since his father's death, but he was used to it. One day, Gus finds a map, and according to the map Gus arrives near a tree. Gus digs the land nearby because there was a heart made on the tree. He finds a box from the dug land. There was a lady's picture in that box. She was a scientist. Gus was considering her as his mother. The name of a place was also written on the picture. He also finds a pamphlet. A name of a place written on it. Hybrid kids were placed there secretly. But actually, it was a trap of last men to trap hybrids. Gus sets the forests on fire and its smoke spreads everywhere. Due to it, the last men members find Gus. He was caught. They were about to end Gus, but a man named Tommy arrives and finishes them. He saves Gus. Gus dashes towards his house as a result of it. Tommy also chases him. They talk and Gus tells Tommy, actually, I want to search for my mother. Tommy forbids him from moving from there. If Gus will go out, the last men people will end him. Gus has to search for his mother, so he chases Tommy. Tommy forbids him from chasing him. Gus says, I will follow you until you take me to my mother. The scene then shifts to a female officer. Because the infection has spread so widely, she is confined to her office. She is stuck in her office for several days. When the officer returns, he notices that the city has completely changed. The officer stays in a zoo. Gradually, her life becomes normal like before. She finds a hybrid girl outside her house. This girl was named Wendy. The female officer adopts Wendy. On the other side, Gus and Tommy spend a night in the forest. In the morning, Tommy notices Gus has eaten all his food and medicines. Tommy becomes aggressive with Gus due to it. Gus feels the aroma of food from a far distance. Following that, they relocate to a 3-person household. A mechanic's apprentice, his wife and his son. Gus and Tommy have a lot of food from there. Gus tells them, actually, I am searching for my mother. Tommy is helping me with all this. Gus goes to play with the mechanic's son. Then Tommy tells the mechanic, only tonight I will stop here. Next morning when the weather will be fine I will leave. Gus was enjoying it there. Meanwhile, mechanic's wife notices a mark on Tommy's chest. This was the mark of last men actually. Mechanic's wife asks him about it. But he claims that I used to be a member of the last men, but that I no longer am. Because I left the job. Tommy asks the mechanic's wife to keep Gus with them. It will be good for him. The mechanic's wife says, first, I'll ask my husband about this. After it, Gus notices Tommy when he was leaving. At the same time, last men members also arrive. While warning them they say, now you have 2 ways. Give us the hybrid kids, otherwise, we will finish all of you. When one of the members of last men was about to end Gus, Tommy ends him. The mechanic tells Tommy, I can't risk putting my family in danger while keeping Gus. So Tommy and Gus have to leave. The doctor then administers a vaccine to his wife. As a result, her infection is under control. The doctor's wife's infection was unlike any other, because it did not spread to others. The doctor notices the vaccine of his wife is finishing. So he moves to a lady doctor for having the vaccine. The lady doctor gives a book to that doctor. There were all the records of the medications given to the doctor's wife. The lady doctor was the patient of cancer at the last stage. She will not live much longer, she will certainly not be able to produce these medicines. The lady doctor says to the doctor, from now on you have to do this task. It means he has to make those medicines. Then the doctor tells his wife that now I have to make all medicines and vaccines for you by myself. A thing was written in the book for making medicine which they can't do. Actually, they need the organs of hybrid kids for making medicines. For this, the doctor has to the postpartum of the alive kids. The doctor doesn't want to do this. Even then he tries a lot to do this task. But he couldn't do it. One day, the doctor was going to a party with his wife. The doctor forbids his wife to go to the party, because her symptoms were clear. The doctor's wife disagrees because she wants to go. They go to the party, everything was normal there. They go to a narrator's house at a party. The narrator's finger starts vibrating. It was clear that he is also infected. They tie him and set the house on fire. The narrator's wife suspects the doctor's wife. On the other side, Gus and Tommy move into an old school bus. They decide to spend a night there. Tommy tells Gus that tomorrow he will board a train it will take Ho to his mother. The next day, Tommy changes Gus's get-up, so the last men will not recognize him. The last men members were also at the station. Tommy and Gus move to the station. Tommy makes Gus sit at a place and moves to bring tickets. Gus leaves from there. He forgets his way, then he meets a girl there. Her name was Bear. She takes Gus with her. Tommy also arrives. However, as they are about to board the train, Gus detects the odor of medicines. When they go to steal the medicines, a guard arrives. The guard discovers Gus is a hybrid boy. Tommy hits him and they try to escape from there. But the guards hold them. Now being tied, they were taken somewhere. Meanwhile, an animal army escaped them. The animal army is a kids' team. Bear was the leader of this army. She was the same girl who was taking Gus with her. Bear has made this army along with her friend. Their job is to save and protect the hybrid kids. They believe the people have ruined this world. The hybrid children will now repair the world. That's why they save and include the hybrid kids in their team. They were about to end Tommy, but Gus stops them. Bear seems this strange that why Gus wants to save Tommy. Bear tells Gus that before the hybrid arrived, the world was coming to an end. Because the humans have ruined it, but when the people like us come on the planet, we are repairing the earth. This is the reason we save the hybrid kids. Gus tells Bear, actually I am searching for my mother. Tommy is helping me with this. Bear says to him, I will find about your mother if you want. But this thing will be a secret between us. Bear informs him Tommy is also one of the last men who end many people like you. After it, the narrator's wife visits the doctor's house. The narrator's wife discovers the doctor's wife is also infected. Now she was going to save others. The doctor was trying to stop her. The horse of the doctor kicks the lady. Due to it, she dies. After it, they hide her body in the freezer. Then the female officer and her daughter Wendy are shown. Wendy means the hybrid girl. They hear a voice. There was a hybrid boy when Wendy's mother checks. He was Wendy's friend. The female officer also keeps him with them. Then the female officer works to protect all the hybrid kids. She contacts through the radio so none will get her location. She was always afraid that the last men would find her. On the other side, the animal army was about to end Tommy. But Bear changes her decision. She orders to release Tommy. Bear's friend doesn't want this. To release Tommy. So they start fighting. Getting a chance, Gus releases Tommy and escape from there. Suddenly, Bear also leaves while leaving her team. Later, the general of the last men meets the lady doctor. He inquires about a book, but she responds that she has given the book to the doctor. But the general leaves? Before leaving, he ends the lady doctor. Tommy says to Gus, I will take you to your mother. They meet Bear on the way and Bear gives Gus his mother's address. The name of a city was written in it, and they proceeded by train. Before this, they have to cross a valley where the dead hybrid kids were buried. The narrator's wife is being searched, according to the doctor. The narrator's wife, whose body was kept in the freezer. The doctor becomes worried because of it. But the doctor's wife makes him understand there is not our fault. After it, they receive a call from the clinic. There is a delivery box for them, but when they open it, there was written hybrid out of stock. In the meantime, the doctor's wife notices that the water is coming from the freezer. When they check, there was the body of the narrator's wife. The freezer's door was also open. It means someone has seen the dead body. The doctor and his wife run while seeing this. But some people come there. The doctor tells them a lie that narrator's wife was infected. But then the finger of the doctor's wife starts vibrating. Due to it, they all come to know that doctor's life is also infected. They tie them because of it. But the doctor tries to make them understand that the infection of his wife isn't viral, but they don't believe him. They lock them inside and set the lab on fire. But the general saves them. The general also discovers the book he was looking for. The doctor's wife tells general that if you want the treatment, you must first free us. The doctor informs the general the lady doctor's research was lacking in certain areas. I have complete those things. I have searched for a cure of the virus. How his virus can cured I will tell you when you will free us from here. Actually, they were telling a lie to the general. On another side, Wendy's friend finds a ribbon. The female officer notices it and realizes that the last men have finally found us. After checking, the female officer notices a lot of ribbons. It means the last men group has marked their place. After it, Wendy asks her mother we should leave this place. Then we are shown those three. They have to cross the bridge to go on another side. But then Tommy and Bear start arguing. Gus tries to cross the bridge alone. The bridge breaks. Gus hangs due to it. Tommy tries to save Gus. But Gus falls down. He didn't get any harm. Then Bear and Tommy take him out of the valley. They reach the train and somehow get on the train. There was the luggage of the last men on the train. It means they may be here. Gus wasn't finding the toy that his father has given him. They search for the toy. Meanwhile, they hear the voice of someone. They immediately hide. The man finds Gus due to it. Tommy and that man begin fighting. That man was none other than Tommy's friend. He was with him on the football team. And he tells them Gus's mother's location. Bear tells them the last men members are on the train, so they try to hide. But the last men members discover about them. Tommy's friend asks them to leave. During this, he will stop the last men members. The three means Gus, Tommy, and Bear come out from there. Tommy's friend tries to stop the last men members. After it, they jump from the train. They reach their destination. On another side, the female officer asks the hybrid kids to move inside a tunnel. The path of this tunnel opens in a church. The female officer asks her daughter Wendy to wait for her in the church. The doctor was taken to a place where his wife was quarantined separately. Then the general says to the doctor, I will give you everything that you want. I just need the medicines to remove this virus. Then Gus reaches his mother's house. He does not meet his mother, the scientist, but he does meet her friend. His mother's friend informs him, his mother has been looking for him for a long time. She never returned after it. The lady gives a key to the storeroom to Gus. They move to the storeroom and Bear finds a file there. She shows the file to Tommy. When Gus sees the file, it was his name on it. It means Genetic Unit Series 1. They discover that the scientist isn't Gus's mother. Gus was made in a lab. It was the same lab from where the virus spread. Gus doesn't bear this thing. That's why he runs from there. Then, from the flashback, a scene is shown. Gus's father means the sweeper is shown, who works in the lab. The scientist was also in that lab. The scientist and the sweeper meet and talk to each other. They become friends. The scientist tells the sweeper that I am working on a project, in which basically, I am searching for a microbe. None knows anything about it. I have found the microbe in the city. We will test it on the egg and then we made a vaccine. That's how people's lives will be saved. If there is an error, it will be disastrous because billions of lives could be lost. After it, the scientist receives her friend's call. She tells her that the army has occupied the lab. The army is taking everything from there. She says to the scientist, "But I have hid your project from everyone." Then the sweeper and the scientist move to the lab. The scientist shows her project to the sweeper. Actually, they were succeeded in making Gus while using the microbe. Then the scientist gives Gus to the sweeper. Because if the military finds him, they will either kill him or conduct research on him. Then the scientist asks the sweeper to take Gus from here. The sweeper does the same. He takes Gus with him and leaves. It is obvious the sweeper was also not Gus's father. Running from there, Gus comes into a plane. Its radio was on. Gus sends a message to the general. The general surrounds the female officer's house. The general says to give him the hybrid kids. But the officer refuses to do this. Here, the officer tries to stop him but she couldn't. He comes inside and Wendy reaches the church with everyone. Here, Wendy asks everyone to stay inside the tunnel. Wendy's friend comes out. She moves to save him. The last men members arrive and hold them. Later, when the officer arrives, she notices that the last men members have taken all hybrid kids from there. Bear finds a cell phone. She tries to repair it and soon the phone was repaired. Meanwhile, the scientist's friend also arrives and Bear tells her about her. She claims, "I was adopted and does not know what my real name is. My parents died because of an infection. I had a sister who was hybrid and the last men picked her." Tommy found Gus and tells Gus, "I had a son same as you." One day, Tommy takes his pregnant wife to the hospital and had a son. When Tommy sees him, he notices he is not an ordinary kid. He was a hybrid kid and Tommy didn't understand what to do, so being panicked he leaves. His son and his wife both disappeared when he returned. Since then Tommy hasn't seen his wife and his baby. Gus tells Tommy, "I have also called the general here." And they hear the bullet's voice. Tommy falls there and general's companions take Gus from there. Then Gus was taken to the doctor. The doctor discover Gus can also speak. The doctor notices and instructs his assistant to bring any other hybrid kid except for Gus. Someone picked Tommy. When he awakes, the officer was sitting in front of him. She asks for help from Tommy that he has to save her kids. Following that, Gus meets other kids his age. Bear attempts to dial a phone number. It was inside the phone. The number connects, and the scientist answers the phone. Gus's mother was still alive and in Alaska looking for a cure for the virus. That's how the movie ends. Thanks for being with me.